Today on the Best of John Miller, John takes on one of the top NASCAR racers in the country on a go-kart track.
He's taking over the field, coming to the front pretty fast.
Also, meet some people who live on Easy Street, literally.
It's pretty easy going.
Learn why they say life here isn't as easy as you might expect. John also introduces us to Hotdog Joe.
You wanna eat?
A guy who goes after his job with relish. And we think you'll get a kick out of this story.
Now show us how it works, Ed. What do I do?
Pretty self-explanatory there, Frank.
Unless it gets a kick out of you first. Those stories and more next.
Discover the lighter side of Northwest living as Idaho's News Channel 7 presents The Best of John Miller.
Hi again, everybody. Thanks again for joining us as we take a look at more of The Best of John Miller. I'm David Augusto. Well, obviously it takes a lot of guts to get behind the wheel in a NASCAR race. But how would Terry Labonte fare against John and a bunch of 10-year-olds? It was racing champion versus reporter at Boondocks.
You know who Terry Labonte is?
Yeah, he's a famous race car driver.
The one usually ripping around a NASCAR track in car number 5, currently strapping himself into this go-kart.
He probably goes about 150 miles per hour.
I'm going to be really upset if on SportsCenter tonight the headline is Terry Labonte injured by wimpy reporter and dozens of 10-year-olds.
That would be bad.
That looks like a pretty tough field out there.
I believe some of these kids have been here before.
Which may be true, but it's totally irrelevant to the story. See, because I'd like to say this is about all you guys, but it's really about me beating Terry Labonte.
Then why don't you get out there and try to beat him?
Of course, that girl coming up in the back was one step ahead of me. You didn't look like you were happy about that.
Well, she was trying to send me a message there, I think, at the start.
But once the race really got going, everyone saw how nice it was to have Terry Labonte come to town, spend some time with the kids and the media, and pretty much whip our butts.
And he's taking over the field, coming to the front pretty fast.
It was a little confusing to the kids.
Well, all I sort of did was drive and crash.
But in the end, I figure I'd beaten NASCAR champion Terry Labonte by about 4 laps.
I never saw you out there.
See, this really wasn't about you guys. This is about me beating Terry Labonte.
You were in the race?
Yeah, I was there.
Okay.
I was so far out in front.
Okay, that's what it was.
All right.
Well, see, I started at the back every time.
Yeah, I know.
I got hung up in traffic.
But you're pretty good, though. I'll give you that.
Love that story. Now, Terry was gone almost as soon as he arrived. After Boise, he jetted off to California for the Save Mart Dodge 350. He finished in 36th place. It's amazing what a splash of paint can do for an old house, or in this case, a new fence. And what some might see as a barrier, Betty Weary sees as a window to a world where the sky's the limit. Here's John.
There's never a problem unless you make it the problem.
But the fact is, Betty Weary had a problem. She hated her new back fence.
And so I decided it wasn't a problem. It was a great big canvas just for me to do something with.
You see, where most people see fences as boundaries, Betty sees hers as a threshold to a much larger world.
Betty's world, that's right.
Where all she needs is a paintbrush, her imagination, and memories.
Because we cannot go to these places anymore because of my husband's handicap. He can't get out and about like he could before.
And now Betty's bringing all those places to him.
The church is just a very special place. When I was painting that church, I was actually visualizing the pews in the church. Do you like it?
Yes.
Yes, there you go.
Yes.
I imagine he's the only critic who really matters, huh?
Well, he's the only one that really matters, but then I have to please Rose over here too.
Of course, the neighbors are envious. But no plans to go start your own?
Oh no, oh no, no.
This is the Weary's way of making an otherwise crowded world a little more spacious and a little more special.
This will be our 50th year of marriage. We've had a lot of hard times and a lot of good times. And right now, I'm just capturing what makes me happy and what makes both of us happy. Just our paradise.
Wow, Wow, that is beautiful. Well, you know those gardening shows that make every backyard project look so simple? You're about to see one project that probably won't make the cut. In fact, Sandy Janicek suggests you think long and hard before you try to duplicate her efforts. She showed John the way.
Sometimes you see things from the road that make you go, hey, what were those people thinking?
That's what a lot of people stop by and ask us, what were we thinking and what are we doing?
What are you doing?
It's an experimental grow wall.
Sandy Janicek says it's just a soggy, saggy stack of straw right now, but she's keeping a rosy disposition.
I think it's going to work, I really do. It's been hydroseeded with perennial wildflowers, and then along the base we're going to plant ivy, so the ivy will eventually take over the whole wall.
What happens if it doesn't work?
We'll tear it down and build a fence.
You already got the posts.
That's right.
Anchored in concrete. You got like metal rebar in there.
Yes, we tried that, and that just quite hasn't been successful. The sprinkler system isn't quite working right either.
Okay. So you know those garden segments where they make everything look so easy?
Mm-hmm.
This isn't one of those segments.
No, it's not.
But Sandy says it was a window of opportunity they couldn't pass up.
And since we're farmers, we had plenty of straw bales to use, so we thought, heck, let's give it a try.
Besides,
in Russia, they have these walls. They're built out of straw, and they put ivy over them, and even tanks can't get through the walls because they're so strong.
so if we have an onslaught here in Meridian, you're safe.
Right.
What do we got going here?
This is to prop the wall up. It started sliding down, and so we had to prop it up.
I don't think we're going to be making the home and garden channel anytime soon here.
You don't think so?
No.
We'll come back in a couple weeks and then see it.
All right.
I really have faith that it's going to work.
So stay tuned.
Still to come on the Best of John Miller. Are you looking for a job you love?
This is heavenly.
We meet a man who took a bite out of the hot dog business and really found his niche. And next,
Senor Dias.
What's that mean?
Means good evening, sir.
learn how a nice lunch is also serving as a lesson in manners for some Treasure Valley kids. Welcome back, everyone. Well, how do kids learn manners these days? You can tell them or you can teach them. And how exactly do you teach them? With tacos, of course. It's all part of an etiquette program at Taft Elementary, or should I say, the Taft Elementary Dining Room. John takes a look.
Where do you go for good Mexican food these days? Well, it's elementary, really.
You got any Spanish for me?
Si. Senor Dias.
What's that mean?
Means good evening, sir.
You are the maitre d', huh?
I'm the maitre d'. See?
Look at that. You got reservations and everything?
Because it's a fancy place.
It's a fancy place, huh?
Yes.
We give some of the children a chance to sit down with tablecloths and candles and flowers at the table. The teachers eat lunch with them.
It is a lot of fun. We're really enjoying it. It teaches them a lot of manners.
What are you learning about manners?
You take your napkin and you lay on your lap or tuck in your shirt.
While Principal Ferguson waits on you hand and foot.
Dr. Eduardo Ferguson today, huh? See. How did it go?
Very well. The boys and girls always enjoyed, I think.
And you dressed up for the occasion, huh?
Yeah,
Why?
because it's special.
Which can make a first grader feel pretty special,
You're $1 million right now.
especially to other first graders.
And you got the lady sitting right here? Oh, nice. Excellent.
Which is really the whole point.
Because this is kind of special today, huh?
Without a doubt. Delightful. Muy bueno.
The kids get a taste of international cuisine at these fancy sit-down luncheons about once a month. Well, wouldn't it be great to live on Easy Street? Sounds like fun. Some folks in Caldwell say, though, it's not quite all it's cracked up to be. As John explains, it's mainly because they can't crack the case of who's stealing a slice of their little piece of heaven.
How long have you lived here?
A little over 2 years.
Is life better here?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what they say.
Easy to live here, not so easy to get here.
Yeah, it gets a little difficult.
Because apparently the only thing easier than owning a piece of Easy Street is stealing a piece of Easy Street.
You know, we can get a sign up and about 2 weeks later it's gone.
Oh, they have done that for years.
That's at least the third or fourth time that they've disappeared.
They just came and took it.
Yeah. Nothing easy about that. Georgia Wheeler says it's happened
Many times. Too many times.
still.
Oh, the living's pretty good.
For Georgia, for Georgie.
Life is never easy.
You see, Georgie Emery works hard on easy.
Well, we're cleaning windows.
Right. Have you noticed a lot of these signs are missing?
Yes.
Well, you know, the kids really think that's cool.
And this one seems to have lasted longest because we put it up to highest.
But it's only a matter of time. That's the easy bet.
Now, you look kind of suspicious to me.
No, I'm fine. Still, how do you like life on Easy Street?
Not bad.
No complaints?
That's right. We like living on Easy Street.
Signs are not.
That's right.
It's pretty easy going.
Yeah. It's just kind of hard to find now.
That's it.
I love that story. The folks on the east stretch of Easy Street say they haven't had any problems since the posts were anchored in cement. Good idea. Ever felt like giving yourself a good firm kick?
Oh, man.
Later on the Best of John Miller, we show you a place that makes it easier than it sounds. And next,
Hot dogs today, come on, dog up.
we catch up with Hotdog Joe, a man who will serve your lunch with mustard and a little soul. Hi again, everybody. Well, there's nothing quite like the bustle around a ballpark before a big game. Good food, good fun, and good people like the guy John found becoming a fan favorite just outside the stadium in Seattle.
Twilight at Safeco Field. Batting practice has barely started.
Hot dogs today, everybody.
But out there in the shadow of the stadium,
Hot links.
just beyond the pregame bustle, Hotdog Joe Jano is already throwing pitches.
Hot dogs today, come on, dog up. Oh, man, I love the people. Hey, man, how you doing? I like the action. Hot links. You want to eat? I love feeding people. That's what I do best.
Turns out he's also good at helping them.
Step right up, folks.
Beyond the kids and college students, last year Joe even took in a couple of homeless guys.
They did a good job. They worked with me all year long. Onion, kraut relish. The guys were so cool, I had them come stay at my house for a little while until they finally got enough money to move out and take care of themselves. Hot-dogging up today.
You know this is the best wiener stand they got, right?
He'll tell you once.
This is heavenly.
He'll tell you twice.
This is heavenly.
He'll tell you 3 times.
This is heavenly. Little man, how you guys doing?
He probably sells well enough to be on The Apprentice.
An American entrepreneur.
In fact, this video is from the audition tape that nearly got him on Donald Trump's show.
When it was all said and done, I got down to like the last 20 people, and then I didn't make the final cut.
You missed the cut.
Yeah, they took Kwame. You know, man.
In the end, Donald Trump's people picked the Harvard guy
3 brides coming up.
over the hot dog guy, which is probably all for the better.
Come on, Kyle. Get him here, folks. Get the money. Let's go.
Hot Dog Joe's got a game to pitch, a team to manage,
Hot dogs, peanuts, kettle corn.
and a public to serve.
Hot dogs today.
Looks pretty tasty. Now, in his younger days, Joe actually was the Seattle Times Paper Carrier of the Year, not once, but twice. Good job, Joe. Tom Bray is a guy who is more than willing to blow his own horn. Still to come, we show you some of his unusual wind instruments. And next, why are these people putting up with a good swift kick to the backside?
Sometimes my wife does it, sometimes Lazonia helps me out.
We see the appeal of the self-kicking machine when the Best of John Miller returns. Need a good swift kick in the pants? Join the club. Seriously, now you can join a club in Rockport, Washington, that is, solely by kicking yourself in the pants. John is the latest member.
Every day you'll find him at the Rockport Country Store, getting the morning paper, getting their crystal clear ice, and for no crystal clear reason,
Getting my butt kicked once in a while.
Probably 5 or 6 times anyway.
Sometimes my wife does it, sometimes Lazonia helps me out.
Oh, man. Bob Mercer's been a practicing member of Rockport's self-kicking club forever.
I've been here for 35 years, right here on this same whooping post.
The whooping post.
Yeah.
What the hell is that over there? Well, Frank Hughes, it's a hand-cranked, chain-driven self-kicking machine.
Okay, now show us how it works then. What do I do?
Pretty self-explanatory there, Frank.
Well, this thing was brought up here years ago for kids to have a good time. Have you ever had your ass kicked by that machine?
No, but I
You go out there and bend over and I'll spin.
Okay.
Now back up.
They say it works best if you stick out your rear end and stick in some sound effects. You can even pick up a keepsake postcard with your whooping, which includes a shot of the less popular and now defunct Pat on the Back Club.
Hey, the only thing we have to do is change out the boots every now and then, you know.
And 50 years later,
We need a big butt over here.
the good folks of Rockport still welcome good folks like Frank Hughes to stop in and turn the other cheek.
And it's a fun way to do it.
We all deserve a good butt kicking.
Yeah.
There you go, Frank.
Do I get some kind of a certificate or something?
Nope.
Okay.
You just get your butt kicked.
Okay.
Amazing. Now, the best thing about joining this club, it doesn't cost a dime. Now, ain't that a kick in the pants? Still to come on the Best of John Miller, we meet a man who builds instruments you've probably heard, but maybe never heard of. This next story might just blow you away. It's the story of one local man and one unique homemade instrument. John introduces us to both.
One day, Tom Bray was playing his didgeridoo in the park when an Australian guy stopped by.
And he said, hi, I'm from Australia. I thought that this would be the last place in the world I would hear a didgeridoo.
And it probably would be, if not for Tom Bray.
The Aboriginal people of Australia were the ones that developed the didgeridoo, possibly 40,000 years ago.
So, 40,000 years later, on a park bench in the middle of Boise, Idaho, Tom watches the river roll by and the people roll by.
There are undoubtedly people who go by and wonder what the heck you're doing.
Oh, sure they do. Absolutely. They stop and they just become very quiet. Their eyes get very big and they stand there and just listen.
And no doubt wonder
what it is, where it is.
The answer is leaning all over Tom's place, sharing space with his equally unique steel sculptures, a collection of plastic and wood.
As a matter of fact, here's a piece that somebody dropped off the other day. I have no idea who it is, but this will make a marvelous didgeridoo. It would really help if I weighed about 250 pounds.
And after another didgeridoo is didgeridone, Tom's off.
Heading to the green belt.
For another performance, or in my case,
It's like
a lesson.
You got it. That's it. You're a natural.
That sound.
I think it's neat. I really do. I think it's wonderful.
It's an extremely relaxing thing to do.
The didgeridoo.
Wonderfully meditative. I highly recommend it.
And because the didgeridoo is basically a hollowed out tube, Tom has been known to make them from plumbing and vacuum cleaner parts. Very resourceful. Well, if you have a problem with all the traffic around town, take a lesson from Bob Meyer. Since he was a kid, he's gotten around on 2 feet and at least 2,000 sticks. John got in step with Bob.
No, I've been carrying a stick since Boy Scout years.
There's a good reason.
It's better than walking naked.
Not that Bob Meyer ever walked naked. Well, not as far as I know, but as far as walking sticks are concerned.
How many do you figure you have, roughly? I mean, it'd probably be impossible to count.
Oh, I've given away more than this.
This is what happens when you pick up a piece of beechwood and a rasp and forget to put them down.
So how long have you been making these things?
Oh, about as long as I've been walking. Have you heard of Lake George?
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the most beautiful lakes in the world.
In upstate New York, where Bob raised his kids on walking sticks after growing up with them himself. In fact, that one in his hand may be in one of these boxes. Bob doesn't keep perfect records, but...
Here's one. 1948.
He does remember that trip to Bullhead Pond and the church camp back in 1960.
And then I have all the kids write their name on it.
That's
And that,
37 years ago.
yeah, and a lot of these kids haven't seen or heard from them since, but they won't forget the time we were together.
So this is one of the taller ones, huh?
Yeah,
These are the shorter
kid sticks, children's sticks.
that grew out of the Adirondack Mountains, roughly in the shape of rabbits and ducks and beechwood creatures that Bob bagged up and brought out west. None, he claims, are finished.
Well, they're all unfinished. I never finish anything.
Never forgets anything either, and as long as he's got a place to walk and a stick to get him there, Bob Meyer probably never will.
Good stick, nice stick. I like that one.
Nice story, I like that one. Bob says the beechwood he uses is abundant in New York, and that's where he gets the wood for his walking sticks. His concern for the environment keeps him from collecting the wood here in Idaho, where beechwood is hard to find. Well, that'll do it for now. Thanks a lot for joining me here on The Best of John Miller, and we'll see you next week as we continue our look at The Best of John Miller. See ya.
Cue up the banjo music.
Idaho!
How's it going?
She is cheating. Oh, man.
Revenge is sweet.
I'd say the odds of that happening with me are pretty much 0. Okay, 1% chance.
Oh, jeez.
You gotta be a little bit brave about it, man.
What does your wife think about this thing?
I think she likes it.
Walking on the moon is easier, I'll tell you that.
You're killing me.
You get to be like the Eddie Van Halen of pumpkin cannons, huh? Did you ever think maybe I should have made my chest set a little bit lighter?
No, I didn't.
How old are you?
I'm 74.
The oldest guy to jump off.